Wow, so we've got breaking news. Trump fires that is, Noem as Homeland Security Chief after rocky tenure. And true story, this actually came out about an hour or so ago. They were saying he was thinking about it, but now apparently it's official. Why? Well, he tweeted it out. Of course he does. That's what Trump does when he's wants to break the news. It's all in tweets. This is coming from Fox and Trump tweet. It says, breaking, Kristi Noem at the Department of Homeland Security is out. Okay. President says Oklahoma Senator Mark Wayne Mullen will take over effective March 31st. So it's like the end of the month. Okay. And this is directly from Trump. I am pleased to announce that the highly respected United States Senator from the great state of Oklahoma, Mark Wayne Mullen, will become the United States Secretary of Homeland Security, DHS, effective March 31st, 2026. So again, Kristi Noem is out. The current Secretary, Kristi Noem, who has served us well and has had numerous and spectacular results, especially on the border, will be moving to be special envoy for the Shield of Americas. Okay. Our new security initiative in the Western Hemisphere, we're announcing on Saturday in Doral, Florida. I thank Kristi for her service at Homeland. So they got this new thing, Shield of Americas, Special Envoy. Wow. So Kristi Noem is out. Mark Mulwayne, if you guys are Mark Wayne Mullen. Sorry, his name wrong. Why am I calling Mark Mulwayne? Mark Wayne Mullen's his name. This is what he sounds like if you're curious.
We're about ready to vote again on Tim Kaine's war power resolution.
That's him, right? So he'll go on TV quite a bit. He's one of the regular TV people on Fox or whatever, and oftentimes he'll wear a cowboy hat and such. So that's who is going to replace Noem. There was a thing also in the Wall Street Journal that was saying Trump was really upset that Noem, I guess, was telling Congress that she was a $200 million ad to promote herself, etc., and fly around. And he was like really mad that she said he signed off on the $200 million ad when he didn't. So basically what really pissed off Trump apparently was that we're talking about doing stuff on TV and cameras and, oh, you said I approved it, but I didn't approve it. Like, that's what he's mad about. It's crazy. And then they're just running around the office looking for good news today. But Trump's got a lot of bad news coming. I'm going to show you guys. Apparently, his ballroom is going to get delayed. Federal Commission's delays vote on Trump's White House ballroom project. So I'm thinking he's got bad news on his ballroom. He's like, I got to fire someone. He takes it out on Kristi Noem. Where's my ballroom, right? What does it say? Federal Planning Commission on Thursday delayed a vote on President Donald Trump's planned White House ballroom until next month. So you got to wait another month. Citing, quote, significant public input, including tens of thousands of comments, nearly all critical of the project. And in fact, you can actually read some of these online. This is on the government website, and basically it's letters from people who are upset with the ballroom. And there's a bunch of these, and they're saying like thousands. They just put a few on here. I'll give you a flavor of what it's like. I am writing as a deeply concerned citizen requesting the immediate suspension of the construction preparations for the proposed ballroom. Right? Here's another one. Dear Commission members, the very idea that Trump wants to tear down a wing of the White House, the People's House, is an appalling idea. He is a tenant, not an owner. Therefore, he has no right to make such an egregious change to the White House. Worse yet, he'll be spending tax dollars, my dollars. I do not want a ballroom in place of the wing of a White House. There's really a lot of these. Please ensure review of the ballroom attached to the White House at President Trump wants to build. I'm concerned about safety, appropriateness, and historical appropriateness. I would like to see it rejected. Here's another one. Please don't let Trump build that ugly ballroom and further destroy the White House. That's the people's house, and don't want it despoiled. And I just want to show you guys, like, there's a bunch of these. I'm just showing you. This particular one has 284, but this is like out of thousands of comments. I'm just going through, like, there's really a lot of these things. Can you explain why the monstrosity that Trump started to build for a ballroom at the White House was not reviewed and approved, or better yet, rejected by you? Another one, I'm writing as a concerned citizen, right? Reports of the proposed ballroom grounds, etc. You get the idea. It's really a lot of these things. On top of that, this was a really interesting one. So I guess Susie Wiles, so she's like the chief of staff, They're running around the office and there's yelling and screaming, looking for good news, and they're trying to get gas prices under control. Because, I mean, this is the thing. When you send out Karen Levitt or whoever in public, they always say, hey, guys, everything's going great. Trump is awesome, etc. But behind the scenes, they can read the news, and they drive cars too as well. I mean, they know what the price of gas is. It's expensive, right? So that's actually a big issue for them. And this is what it says. It was kind of bizarre. It says, Energy Secretary Chris Wright and other advisors focus on energy policy, including a council led by Interior Secretary Doug Burnham. Okay. Quote, both these people are getting screamed at to find some good news. Okay. Quote, folks are scrambling for announcements and messaging to counter the narrative of rising prices, right? So I could just imagine people running around the office like, find me some good news. Where's that good news? I mean, because here's the thing, and I always tell you guys the same stuff on this stuff. Don't let the Trump people tell you how your life is. You know how your life is. You know how much stuff costs. You know, food costs. You know, energy costs. You know, the job situation. You know, the cost of, like, you know, your kids trying to make a life for themselves. And they know as well, but they try to pretend on the, you know, surface that when you have these big press conferences, they tell you how everything is so awesome and Trump is awesome, etc. And it is a vast contrast to what people see on the ground, and that's why these people clown themselves every day, because it's just like, are you serious on the nonsense that you say? So, for example, this is what they'll say on the outside. They'll say, as usual, Politico wrote sensationalist, unverified gossip for clicks. And that's coming from Karen Levitt. Nobody is panicking thanks to President Trump's leadership in his first term and current term. And when you see this, like, when they say no one's panicking, I'm sure they're definitely panicking. Thanks to Trump's leadership in his first term and current term, the United States remains the largest crude oil and natural gas producer in the world, blah, blah, blah. So the thing is, gas prices are up. And I think you guys know that already. And the thing with Trump, it seems like everything that is going on, he just wants his photo ops. And so now, apparently, we've talked about this before on the channel, I guess you're making more phone calls to the Kurds. Trump calls on Kurds to aid U.S. effort in Iran, offers support. And what they're talking about is air support and trying to get the Kurds to do a ground war, basically. I'll read a little bit. You guys get the sense of it. The Trump administration braces for more U.S. casualties and considering whether to put troops on the ground in Iran. Okay. And the idea is, I think they know that would be deeply unpopular, because then there's no way to say that, hey, guys, we're not going to be here forever, which I personally think it's going to be much longer than what they're indicating. And essentially, they're trying to get the Kurds to be on the ground, right? But we'll see. And it says, has begun reaching out to Tehran's domestic opposition as potential allies to foment an uprising against the regime. And calls this week to the Kurdish minority leaders in Iran and neighboring Iraq. President Trump has offered, quote, extensive U.S. air cover and other backing for anti-regime Iranian Kurds to take over portions of the western Iran. Okay, according to most people of the matter, here's a quote here. The American request to the Iraqi Kurds, so there are two different groups here. You have Iranian Kurds and Iraqi Kurds, is to open the way and not obstruct, okay, while also providing logistical support. Yeah, here's more. Trump was clear in this call, okay. He told us the Kurds must choose a side in this battle, either with America and Israel or with Iran. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. I mean, this is obviously very sensitive topics, and this is a very fluid situation we talked about before. And while this is all going on, Trump apparently wants to be involved in picking Iran's next leader. Again, this would be another photo op or whatever. And it's also when I was looking through this stuff, and I've told you guys several times on the channel, if you do want success in Iran, it has to be the Iranian people themselves choose their own fate, choose their own, future. Make their own thing. Like this idea that the U.S. can just come in and have Trump personally be involved with choosing the leader and stuff like that. It'll never have a legitimacy in the eyes of the local people. And just think of it this way. Just, imagine if another country is like, oh, I really need to make sure that your president, I see Americans are suffering and you got to have this president. This is the president you have to have, right? I mean, it's the local American people need to choose their, president in the same way that local people in and Iraq need to choose their leader, however they want to do it. And this is like, I guess Trump, he says, they're wasting their time. Khamenei's son is a lightweight. I have to be involved in the appointment, like Delcy Rodriguez in Venezuela, Trump said. Great. And so, this is what we're up to. The White House is then just is completely unserious how they tweet out this like bizarre crap. MAGA, American flag, lightning bolt, make America great again. This is their official communications. I guess it's like a Pokemon neighborhood is what they're trying to imply. So bizarre. And, while they're doing that and fighting over ballrooms, whether they're going to, fire Kristi Noem, people are really struggling out there. This is another thing that just came out from the Wall Street Journal talking about the money situation of Americans. Record numbers of workers are raiding their 401k savings. And we have a chart here, and just basically just don't have enough money, so you're dipping in the retirement essentially. Why are they doing it? It says the top reasons for taking hardship withdrawals last year were avoiding foreclosure and eviction. So people are worried about losing their homes, paying for medical expenses, right? Meaning withdrawal was $1,900. So people are short on money. And if you're on, say, a fixed income or, whatever your situation is, and you lose your job on top of gas prices going up and, food costs going up and transportation costs as a whole. And remember, we just talked about before, as Trump and their people's focus is on, I guess Trump really wants to pick the next leader of Iran, or he's upset at his people for not having enough good news running around the office, yelling at people, find me good news, right? They're spending all this money on Iraq and on Iran, and they want yet more money for this thing. Like they're requesting an increase in the budget on the military by 50%, which is crazy. So they basically want another $500 billion. And then he's upset about his ballroom while Americans are struggling. So that's the news. Kristi Noem is out, and that Mullen dude is in. I'd like to hear your guys' thoughts on this. I do appreciate your time, and I'll catch you on the next video.